Hello, everybody. It is great to be here one more time today. And my name is Gary Fowler, and I'm the CEO, president, and founder of GSD Get Shit Done Venture Studios, a premier AI and quantum venture studio located in the heart of Silicon Valley. We believe that intellectual capacity is evenly spread around the world, but opportunities are not. And with great pleasure, I have my friend Dave Smith. Dave is a serial entrepreneur. He's got an incredible story, having studied in Sweden. We're going to talk about that a little bit. But he's got a company that's really redefining the planet Earth and how we live together, the Safe Steps. So with that, I'd like to bring my friend Dave Smith on board. Hi, Dave. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, Gary. Good morning. I am doing wonderful. Thank you for inviting me today.
Nah, it's good to have you. So tell me a little bit about it. I know you and I have talked about this before. Now, what happened about why in the world did you go to Sweden?
Well, my story is I was an athlete growing up, and I got hurt playing Division One football and baseball, and they took my scholarship away. So I ended up going and becoming more academically oriented. And during that time, I met a girl and fell in love, got engaged, and then she broke it off with me. And during my time of despair and love lost, I had a professor, one of my professors approached me and asked me what I wanted to do with my life. And I told him I wanted to go into international business law. And he says, great, I want to sponsor you for a scholarship to go to Europe.
Oh my gosh, that's great.
So I said, fine. Okay. I just lost my livelihood in football and baseball. I just lost the love of my life. Why not? And I ended up applying for the scholarship. He sponsored me and I got it. And I went to the University of Uppsala in Sweden, which is 40 miles northwest of Stockholm. It was the greatest thing I ever did, Gary. I tell you, just the most magnificent chance of a lifetime.
Now, how was it? Were people nice to you over there?
Oh, absolutely. I was, when I was there, it was in the latter 70s, and there was a lot of adulation for U.S. They loved U.S. movies, anything U.S. It almost was, I was a novelty to many of my friends. You know, that really helped me quite a bit. So I had the only big thing was I had in 10 weeks I had to learn Swedish at a college level in order to be accepted into their university.
Oh my God, how did you do that?
8 hours a day of classes, lots and lots of practice. I only spoke Swedish for 10 weeks straight, and everybody else wanted to speak English to me, which was fine. And they would correct me and they would help me. And I just, you had to pass a college proficiency exam in order to stay there as part of the scholarship. And it was intense, but what the heck? Yeah, if you want to do something bad enough, you'll find a way to do it.
Wow, that's amazing. And so, what were the major differences between Swedish culture and American culture? What did you like? What was different?
Well, everything. Their language was different. Their clothes were different. Their food was different. Their politics were different. Their tax system was different. Their attitude was different. I learned the environment at that time in Sweden was run by the Social Democratic Party, and they were socialist in nature. In fact, they kept people at certain levels by taxing them. The more money you made, the higher you paid taxes. And one person in Sweden, while I was there, they had a major issue because she was an author of children's books, and she had to pay 106% of her income in taxes.
How in the world could that be?
It was their system. The more you made, the higher the tax percentage was. And she made so much money, it ended up for every dollar that she earned, she had to pay the Swedish government $1.06.
So it wasn't worth working.
Exactly. Now, that's the social system. I'm not political. I just was living in it, and I realized that a person who was unemployed made as much money as a practicing physician in primary care in Sweden.
Oh my God, that's unbelievable.
Well,
That is unbelievable.
That's what socialism can become. And that system has changed somewhat, but still, it's not uncommon to pay 90% of your or more in taxes of your income in Sweden. That's why the Swedish people who are successful are always seeking safe haven tax havens, and it's amazing. I truly learned what socialism was and how they delved out healthcare, and they pay for a lot of things, but the thing is, you don't have the freedom of choice. You don't have the freedom of flexibility to do it your way, or they will provide it for you, but in their time, in their way, and you just don't have it. And I truly became more of a capitalist and understood the value of the free enterprise system by living there.
Wow, that's amazing.
It was life changing.
Now, do you speak Swedish today?
No, I don't. See, that's the thing with our brains. If you don't use it, you lose it.
Yeah, no, I agree.
You can think about, can you remember what you learned when you were in college? I can't.
No, I got it. But I bet you had a lot of fun. What an adventure you are. So you get down through. And you decide, you're an entrepreneur. You went to the Jack Welch School. But, the safe steps, how in the world did you come up with such a wonderful idea?
I can't take, it was out of a commitment to my mother and a necessity for my family. Unfortunately, my mother passed away from breast cancer at an early age. In the last 3 months of her life, I was her primary caregiver. And during that time, she taught me many things, life-changing things, one of which is how important the love of a mother is for their children and their grandchildren. And she may ask me to make a commitment that her 2 grandchildren, which were my niece and nephew, would go to college debt-free. I mean, I couldn't say no to that. And I made that commitment to my mother. And what I didn't realize was she changed my life at that time, because she put me on a journey of helping my family, but also realizing that every grandmother wants the best for their grandchildren. Every mother wants a good life for their children. And Safe Steps has evolved into, that's our mission, to give hope to every mother and grandmother on how they can have a good life for their children and their grandchildren.
Well, that must have been pretty powerful when your mom said that to you. I got to tell you, Dave.
It's amazing.
Somebody passes. I know we spent a lot of time with my dad, in his final time, and the kind of things that they say to you are really on point. They're a lot different from and you take it in a whole entirely different way. That's amazing. So, well, congratulations on that. It's great that they went to school. And so you founded it, but how did you, I know you're doing a lot of work with Indian tribes. How in the world did you come up and say, I'm going to deal with the Ho-Chunks? Was it just one day I woke up and said, well, there's a tribe that needs me?
No, what I found during my journey of learning how to help my niece and nephew go through college, I saw that there were bigger problems out there than just going to college and doing it without debt. And that was what I became an expert in for my family. But along the lines, I saw that there are problems. And as an entrepreneur, I'm always looking to find problems that I can solve. And then I seem to build a business around it. And solving more problems makes a great business. And this is a big problem because what happens is our children, our youth today are in dire straits. The Surgeon General tells us our youth are in crisis in the United States. And this is because of a number of factors that I've studied from the outside. Number one, they need a purpose. They need to have a goal that they're not taught in our public school systems. It's just not set up that way. So what Safe Steps does is it bridges the gap between employment and education. And so what we're able to do is take education and really empower it and show each individual and their family how they can use education and apply it to skills necessary for employment and a great life. And that's what Safe Steps does every day, is give people purpose and creates a greater impact in society.
Well, that sounds like the book, The Secret on Steroids. Yeah.
I tell you, Gary, it's the most fulfilling thing I've ever done in my life. This has become my passion. And I built a company of people who are dedicated to delivering hope. Let me explain what hope is to us. It's an acronym that says helping others prosper every day. Mm-hmm. So we deliver hope to families across the United States. And my vision is to do it worldwide.
Wow, that's amazing. So tell us a little bit about it. So I know you started out with the Ho-Chunk tribe, but I understand that the company's evolved. Now you got an application and you're working with ChatGPT. What's happening?
Well, what's happening is the last 3 years we have been working with the Ho-Chunk Indian tribe because they are an impoverished population in the Midwest. And I found that the indigenous organizations around the country have the same needs. Those are, they need to understand the pathway to employment. And being in the employment business for 10 years as an executive recruiter, they needed certain skills to be employable. Well, we developed those skills and found that we had partners at MIT that taught or had researched and found that the future of work is all about human skills. How do you humanize it? Mm. So at Safe Steps, we train and teach and support human skills, skills that computers cannot replace. And we have been able to take the most pushed down area like Indian Nation and built them up and give them hope, give them a pathway to success, and then also create a total environment where they have great social life at home as well as with their friends. So we're pretty excited about the results we're now able to document.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. So tell me a little bit about this global expansion. I'd love to hear about that. So what are the plans?
Well, the plans are in phase one, we have established relationships with school districts around the country and nonprofit organizations. Some significant ones like the Girl Scouts of USA. And what we're doing is we're taking our curriculum and creating lessons as they progress through life. So in the U.S., we are establishing it with school districts and nonprofit organizations, which will eventually, in phase two, we will be partnering with corporations to help develop the skills and prepare them for employment in the future. We now, in the United States, have areas that we can document saving lives, saving money, and increasing profitability of corporations.
Wow.
That's
fantastic. I love it.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it, but every place you have training, there's always that human connection that we need to be closer together and how we can help each other, do the right thing, guide people. It's kind of like my friend Patch Adams said a long time. I remember I met him over in Europe. Right. Yeah. And he said to me, if you help others, you help yourself, you know, and these endorphins and enkephalons, and he's right. It makes you feel good when you're out helping other people and you see the smile on their face, you see their pearly whites, you see them happy. And, you know, it makes our society better, really, the way we can bind together and bond and make this planet a better place. You know, we got a lot of challenges out there. You know, Dave, we hear a lot of bad things every day, but, you know, the one thing with the safe steps, it's kind of guiding light. It's like that point, a ray of hope. And it is about hope, isn't it? It's about
It
moving
is.
in the right direction and doing the right thing, you know, helping people just like you want to help somebody to help you if you're in need. It's amazing. So,
Hey Gary, can I add one thing to, because I get so excited. What's happening now is we're in this transvergence of technology. And what Safe Steps is now doing is we've taken our curriculum and our training, but we're adding it to an app that puts it in every individual's phone. And now what we're able to do also is connect it with Chat GPT. The Chat GPT allows them to access the curriculum at any time, 24/7, and use it to their advantage. It is going to be just a enormous boost to Safe Steps, and I can't be more excited about it.
no, you're right. You know, everybody's talking about ChatGPT. That's incredible. I mean, imagine you hit all the bases. You're doing the right thing. At the same time, you've got a technology and an application. On the other side, you've got ChatGPT. It's kind of like having your grandmother there that cares about you and loves you and points you in the right direction. Kind of like a life coach, intelligent life coach.
There
That's
you go.
a great thing. Wow. And so, you know, this is exciting times. I mean, you've done an exciting technology. You've done an exciting platform to be able to make our lives better. You know, and imagine there's 8.1 billion people on the planet. A lot of people are disconnected. Doesn't matter where you are, right? Doesn't matter if you're in Europe, you're in Latin America. It brings us together. So imagine the possibilities. What about things for like corporate training? Because companies need to have their you know, that camaraderie there too. So man, I can see that with that. What's your feelings about that?
Oh, it's immense. I mean, I was fortunate in my journey in my career. I ran the corporate training for a healthcare company for 2 years. And the specifically what it does is we can put the culture of a company into the training with human skills now that provides them much more connectivity with their employees and the culture of the company. You'll have your new hires will be more productive faster. They will be retained longer, and the profitability of the corporation will be enormous because you're not losing money. You're making money faster, and that's what it's all about.
And people care about each other.
They do, because they're able to communicate more effectively. The wonderful thing about Safe Steps is it does three things. It provides them more effective ways to communicate by asking more questions, the right questions. It helps them in making better decisions because it gives them more choices to select correctly. And then the third thing is we go back old school, Gary. When you and I were growing up, we learned around the kitchen table. We learned from our parents. We learned from our mothers and fathers. Family values have been lost today because of the fast pace. Yeah. We encourage family values in the decision-making process and the support of each individual. So it's real simple. More effective communication, better decision-making, and solid family values.
No, that's great. I love that. Yeah, that's right. You know, it's kind of like going back in time, isn't it? When we didn't have all the technology to distract us. And here on the other side, the technology is really enabling us to get together again.
Yeah, absolutely. It's exciting times, Gary.
So what do you think? What does it look like a year from now? What does it look like for 2 years from now for the Safe Steps?
Well, you know, we're taking it and, you know, in partnership with the people that are growing us. And so the sky's the limit. We want to systematically grow in areas. We're not trying to boil the ocean. We're trying to be specific and document the value that we're bringing to people. And the more we can document and prove what the value of Safe Steps, I mean, it's just like, we're ordering seatbelts because we're going to Mars and beyond.
I love that. You're ordering seatbelts. That's perfect. You're right. It's taken off. That's incredible. So we're coming up to the top of the show. Closing thoughts, and what's the best way for people to get a hold of you?
Well, they can catch me at dave@thesafesteps.com. And they can also call me at 619-778-5828. And what we're doing right now, what it looks like, Gary, is we are now bringing partners in from the investment world to help us accelerate our growth. And that is what looks like over the next year or so, that we want to help as many people in the world as we can and make our society a great place. Because the opportunities, you hear all the bad stuff, but man, it's an exciting future.
Yeah, you're right. It is good to hear some great stuff. I love it. Every time I talk to you, you make me feel better all day long. It's incredible.
Well, thank you for the opportunity.
Well, we got to spread that joy and that love and that compassion around the world to do the right things. So for all of you there, take a look at the Safe Steps. It's an incredible company. Dave is an incredible guy. Look at it. Give them the website so they have the website.
It's www.thesafesteps.com.
You got it, everybody. Check it out. Dave, it's great to have you on the show today. Thanks for taking time out of your busy schedule to join us. My name is Gary Fowler, and I'm the host of GSD Presents, Silicon Valley AI and Tech. Stay tuned for another exciting edition coming Thursday. Stay happy, stay safe, and stay healthy, and I'll be back at you. Thanks, everybody.